my favorite thing you discover in this process is something that you think can only be done by humans suddenly has little pieces that can be done by computers. So you slowly remove all the parts, into their individual components, and then you see what is the actual human magic. I would love that if eventually computers were making jokes for us. That would be very scary and very science fiction, but not outside the scope of this project. I'm Lydia Chilton. I'm a PhD student in computer science at the University of Washington, and my project's on computational humor. So I work in the space of crowdsourcing, which often means you just take a problem and break it down to its essential elements so that you know how multiple people can contribute to one goal. So a bit ago I had this problem where I was assigned to write this holiday skit. It was meant to be funny. I don't really know how to be funny, and so I went on my search engine and asked how to be funny, and they gave me some high-level descriptions, but it wasn't enough for me to actually be funny. So the main piece of advice that they gave me was, what you want to do is set up your listeners' expectations and then upset them in some way. So a couple Dave Barry quotes fit this. For example, fishing is boring unless you actually catch something, in which case it's disgusting. Very much the same way that we do other types of computation. Just like you have a multiplication, you have a put together a joke of this kind. So what you might expect to see is, first, okay, here are the jokes. Maybe there's 10, maybe there's 100 that I've, shown you as representative. Okay? After that, here's how they were labeled. And you may agree, you may disagree, and I'm looking for feedback on all that stuff. So I gave you one joke about fishing. A joke about camping would be, camping is nature's way of promoting the motel industry. So it's the same basic format, but it's a little bit different. It's about camping, so like sort of idyllic, tents in the woods, and then when you bring up motels, like, oh yeah, but then there's no running water, and you gotta go, the word you can't say in the woods, relieve yourself in the woods. So we're asking for $2,500, and the main uses are going to have S3 and EC2 storage on Amazon. There's going to be a lot of data associated with this, and a lot of interaction. And then the other thing would be paying Mechanical Turk workers. That can add up pretty quickly. You want to get high quality workers, so and I want to constrain it to people in the US. We want to be able to pay them a fairly fair wage. I got involved with this because I had a need to write jokes, and I feel like most things can be broken down. Most processes that we do, especially creative processes. I think in school we're taught that you write a book by being brilliant and having insights, and then they just come out of you one day on your typewriter. This is clearly how Ernest Hemingway did it, and if you can't do that, then forget it. You're done. And I don't think that's true at all. I actually have read books about the creative process, mostly for writing, and there are ways to break it down. And some people do have that natural talent. It just comes to them. Vladimir Nabokov was definitely like that. So as I started to tackle my initial problem of how do I be funny, I went and read kind of everything that I could. One philosophy paper was very influential on me. It actually was the best at describing this process of, you set up an expectation for a topic and then you break it. And I've read this philosophy journal paper about humor, and they sort of went into detail about this, and also about you can't just state the thing, you have to draw the picture of it. So what my thesis is about is, can we break down problems that you wouldn't ordinarily think can be broken down? So creative things like telling jokes is definitely among these. When ordinarily you would think jokes cannot be broken down. You're either funny or you're not. But as we break it down, we find that there are parts of the process that we can replace a human, the computer, by. So like the brainstorming process of, okay, what are all the ways to think of camping? A computer can start helping you do that. There are still elements that computers can't do. So for example, the cultural references, or knowing whether using one word is funnier than another. Like, I don't know, the word poo is just sort of funny, So some things like that computers don't know yet, but maybe we can teach them, and maybe that's the next step. So it's really taking apart the intellectual process so that as the pieces become available to be done by computers, they are. What is there that only the computers don't know yet? Like the cultural bits, or which word sounds funnier. And slowly, I think we can teach computers by doing it, by teaching ourselves how we actually do it. It's what we call a many eyes problem. We need many people from many cultures to take their interpretation on this. Or brainstorming fundamentally is a many eyes problem. If I can put your idea and my idea together, that's where the humor is going to come from. I really hope that my donors will enjoy seeing what I come up with. I hope that they can help me analyze some of the data, give me a perspective on what I'm doing, see things that I don't see. Through looking at the data and the process, to whatever success we have, I think people will start to see that yes, problems can be broken down. If anyone on the writing staff of SNL is watching, you better watch out for me. I'm coming for you guys.